step, I'm going to take a vacuum cleaner, vacuum up all that stuff down there. Somebody's working on this thing. I don't know if they put a pump in it or what. Vacuum all that up. Vacuum up all the debris and stuff hanging out around that manifold. I'm just going to clean that up with Scotch Brite pad. We'll be ready to put the new manifold on it. So this is all the stuff required to put the manifold on. We've got just everything laid out on the bags. The spacers, the retaining nuts, the studs in the head, the 3 nuts that go on the back to hold the up pipe on, the O-ring for the heater, the O-rings for the excuse me, for the crankcase separator, intake O-rings. That's the charge air cooler outlet O-ring from the turbo. Those hold the turbo down. Obviously the exhaust manifold gasket. The VGT connector broke, so we're putting one of those on it. That's the turbo clamp kit and gasket kit. And then the manifold itself. This turbo is leaking, so we got this coolant fitting leaking, the oil fitting leaking. We're just going to freshen it up while we're there. Those are the small fittings, and that's the larger fitting, and that's the oil line and the coolant line. Going to put all brand new on there. So this is one of the aggravating jobs, this part of this job, this pipe. Now, this is the ratchet I'm using to break these loose, and the torque on these is 18 foot-pounds. And it's struggling with this ratchet. These are just stupid tight from the factory. Way tighter than they should be. I'd say that was probably 80 foot-pounds. Alright, so all I need is that. Placing this clamp. Man, these things has freaking tension on them. It don't make any sense. These do pretty good. I mean, you don't even have to hit that with anything. So the new manifold doesn't come with any studs. Make sure you order some if you're going to replace one of these, because you don't want to try to remove those studs from the old manifold. That would be a lot of work, and it probably would be trash when it got done.
Train 701, please. Train 701. David 702, David GM.
Ow. Put our new gasket on, and our pipe. 3 retaining nuts. We're just gonna snug this down because we need it to stay loose. Because the manifold can shuck around, and then this can shuck around quite a bit. So we can line this up to the turbo. Can't have it tight. You never get it lined up, and there'd be a lot of cussing. I want to get them as close as possible though, because I don't want to be ratcheting up against that firewall. So I get as close as possible and still move it. The least amount of turns I got to make down here, the better off I am. So that is that. Put a clamp on here. So this will sit like this. And our clamp sit like that. So it sits like that. One greasy manifold. That thing ain't gonna rust. So let's get back under the truck and let's go ahead and put this on, get it torqued down, and then we'll work on our turbo. this exhaust leak's a warranty job. I like to have a pretty good working relationship with my parts department. So all these nuts and bolts that are on this table over here, I put all the old ones back in the bags, and I label the bags with the RO number in case Ford calls for anything. It's very easily retrieved. So every one of these bags will get an RO number on it and the old part put back in it. So that's the RO number. Just write it on the bag, the box, whatever. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck, but it's just easier on everybody in the long run, because Ford will call for some of this stuff one of these days, and they can't say I didn't try. For some reason they can't find it. Our ring stayed in the fitting, so make sure to take that out. Don't want to double O-ring it. Stayed in the turbo, excuse me. Stayed in the turbo. Pull on our O-ring. So I'm going to get a dry start. I gotta say, I was not looking forward to this part of the job. Click. Bit on the nasty side. And I'm going to put the line on oil supply line on. I'm going to put it on after the turbo's in, because it's kind of rubs on the fuel lines trying to go in. So we've got it out. We'll take advantage of that. Put it on after the turbo's on. Alright, stand this puppy up, have a look underneath it. Just give it a wipe down, make sure there's no gasket stuck to it. Looks good. Now we'll, I think we're ready to put it on. Let's have a look. So this is going to be a little hairy, trying to get in here and get this heavy turbo in here with a camera in the way, but excuse me, we'll do our very best. Do our very best. It's early. I haven't had breakfast yet. And I don't think I'm ready to tuck a hernia back in. Just yet. My voice is a little raspy. Of course, this is gonna get probably time lapsed, so you probably won't hear my voice. Don't know yet. The biggest thing you gotta watch out for is you don't want to drag the turbo across this gasket. Because if you scratch it, it doesn't work, it doesn't seal as good as an unscratched. These gaskets are really delicate, unfortunately. So the goal is to come in and just sit it down in here without hacksawing it back and forth across there. So let's move this. Now you won't be able to see anything. It's just a dark cavern in there. Alright. Let's make it happen. There's nowhere to really get a handle on this thing. Alright, so get the wastegate actuator by there. Not damaging it. Doesn't take much to knock that little vacuum nipple off of there. Now we gotta come by this. That's a little bit of a aggravation there. Between there, you can't see it, but it's right up against the cow panel. I can twist this a little bit. What am I leaning on here? Oh, she's close. Alright. So, we're sitting on our gasket now. So I'm going to gently pick this thing up. Relocate. So we're not sitting on our gasket. What can you see? Not a damn thing. Let me try to move this light. There's one. And two are in there. me show you what we got. I'm not going to film bolting this turbo down just because it's boring and tedious, but there's our dowel pin, and we're lined up there, and there's our other one, we're lined up there, and then we just got 4 bolts that are splayed in. So we'll bolt those in. Then we've got to line up our pipe. There's 1 pipe, and the other one is right there. So we got to line that one up next, which it's right on the money actually, which is nice. Then I can't get to the exhaust in the back just because it just wants to be a pain. So I got to take off the crankcase vent separator, and then put the oil line in. And the easiest way to do that is you just take your line here and you put the line in the bottom first, and then you can click it into the top. If you click it in the top first, it's really difficult to get. I mean, you have to kind of stretch this line and spread it, and it's pretty rigid, so we don't want to do that. Alright, so let me get this turbo bolted down and get some exhaust pipes on it, and then we'll see where we're at. We might call it on this, because the rest is just putting the intakes back on, and that's easy peasy. Our yellow O-ring goes right here on this heater, which goes down to our intake. The only thing to note going back together is when you're putting the lower intake on, which is right there, it's hard to line both. It's hard to line both the bottom, the bottom and the top inlet to the turbo at the same time when you're sliding that thing down in there. So the easiest thing to do is to take so we got our rubber boot here. It's already on the turbo. This rubber boot, the easiest thing to do is just put it back on and slide it completely over to where it's flush. Alright, then put your intake system set up on the lower intake, and then just slide that over back into place, instead of trying to line them both up at the same time and get it down through there and all that. It's just easier. And get a light. You gotta make sure these jivvy type fittings, the clip is in place. And it is. You would have one heck of a mess if it wasn't. When these things leak, they put some serious oil down. Alright, now for the top fitting. I'm going to put this little lock on there. The top fitting just pushes over and rocks down into place. Of course, it's not cooperating. There we go. And once she's in, just going to verify the clip didn't pop out. Over there. So now we'll go ahead and put the coolant return hose in. Let's see if you can see that. Thing goes there. You can see that. but you can't see back there. So this hose is a tight fit, so I'll leave up the nipple. Supposed to use antifreeze, but it ain't enough, so I use a little bit of engine oil. Put it on the nipple first. Just put it on until it lines up with our fitting in the back here. So it's hard to see back here on what I feel. I don't know if you heard that click. And I can just feel the clip back there. It's in place. There's a little black lock on there. Now I get to release that clamp. Alright, so I'll hold this. I'll take these right up. There we go. Make sure it's still in place. Alright, so we'll just take this, slide it over, slide it all the way over to where it's flush there. And then we only got one line up, one hose at the bottom, like on a cab and chassis. So now all I got to do is bring this forward. And we're in like Flynn. So that's it. This is just showing, you know, some of the process for putting a left-hand manifold in. We didn't talk about the concern or what was going on, or didn't talk about anything. I just started working on it. But basically, you saw the manifold on the floor. It was leaking pretty bad. We had 2 broke studs in the back. So that's all we're doing, is just replacing that exhaust hardware to take care of the leak. Had a real high-pitched squeal noise. Sounded like a belt squeal. I'm going to finish this up, and the customer wants it like 2 days ago, and then we're going to move on. I've got quite a few things going here. Just show you real quick when I've got your attention. That's an EcoBoost Edge. It's getting a turbo. That one's getting the same fittings we just put on this turbo and a low pressure fuel pump. So I've got the gauge. Got the gauge hooked to the fuel lines, checking for restriction and fuel pressure. And then these guys are getting a def tank heater. And then I've got 3 out back I gotta work on. So gotta get to it.